So, which part of this did we wanna talk about here, because there's a lot of different pieces to this.
Do you want to touch on the next bill pay
Yeah, okay.
portion?
So, Village has, decided to go forward with, integration with Next Bill Pay, which integrates into my company's software, the billing piece. And Next Bill Pay is an electronic bill presentment and payment platform, fancy way of saying a web portal, for customers to be able to log on and to make payments on their account online. You are on, you're on our older version of our platform, our software, so it won't have all the integrations that it would have if you had the upgraded version of our software. But your customers will be able to log in, they'll be able to look at their balances, they'll be able to make payments on those balances. And, that stuff will come into the utility office through a file exchange with, an integration we have set up with Next Bill Pay, where they'll be able to bring those payments in electronically, not have to hand key them. In a nutshell, that's what we're looking at.
And they can set up auto pay.
They will be able to set up auto pay. Some of the features will be a little bit limited because of the older platform, it's older technology, so we don't have the tight integration that we have once you go to the new platform. When you do go to the new platform, though, everything will be tightly integrated. Customers will be able to go paperless, they'll be able to set up auto pay, they'll be able to do text, payments, all kinds of really cool stuff.
And then, the cost to the village is $1,200 a year, correct?
Yeah, that proposal that I sent you, I'll pull that up here. So there's a few costs on it. $1,200 a year for the integration piece, that's for us to support the file swap, that goes on between Next Bill Pay and Software Solutions. There are a couple of other things that I would note. There is, credit card transaction fee for the customer making the payment. If they use a credit card, it would be 2.95% with a minimum charge, transaction fee of $1.95.
To the customer.
To the customer, correct. So therefore, if they make a $100 payment to the village gets the entire $100. The ACH transaction fee is, capped at $5,000 maximum payment amount, but that's a flat rate for the transaction of $1.95. There is also a pay by phone option, and there's no surcharge on that. That's no additional charge.
And you can pay multiple accounts at the same time, right?
You will be able to pay multiple accounts at the same time.
And, on top of that, we do have 200 of the new meter heads installed this week.
We have 200 of them now. We got
About 800 roughly, still less.
another 600 to go.
And then, this is the presentation from the outsourcing on the billing itself. And it's really an even swap, it's $595 roughly for the village to do it with the cards and the billing and postage and my time. And then it's $560 to outsource and use something most people.
Yeah, there's a partner that we have called Peregrine Print Solutions, and we have the ability to send them a file in the background. They will pull that file in, create the bills, mail them out for you, and it's actually gonna end up being cheaper for the village overall than if you were to print them in-house and mail them yourself.
Alright.
I got a question. Is there an individual billing fee per customer on this?
That's a question for the village. I think your answer is no. There's not anything additional that's built into the utility bill.
Just what they would be charged to make the payment online.
Yeah, if you make a transaction online, you can pay for that transaction.
If you pay the person.
Yeah, we still do in-house. And Dropbox, et cetera.
And like I mentioned with the newer software that we have, when you do go to that, they'll also be able to look at their bills online and digital copy of that online and download that themselves. They'll be able to, set up multiple accounts, like you said, if they're landlords, and manage them all at once, look at all those bills online, so it's gonna help them to really self-serve. One of the points I like to make is, I know there's a charge to citizens that decide to use that service to make that payment with a credit card or an ACH, but there's still value to customers like me, who I'm not paying a transaction fee, I'm just not going to, but I could go online and I could still manage my bill, I could still pull down my, copy of my bill for free. Doesn't cost me anything to use those services, only if I choose to make my payment through that channel would I be charged anything. But I still get some value out of the portal as a free customer.
For customers are used to paying $3 per transaction for online fees.
So this would be better.
Is there a way, like, if I want to have things drafted for my checking, set up with, how do I do that?
Do you guys currently do that with eGov, Trina?
No.
You don't do ACHs out of eGov? Okay. Some places do, some places don't do it out of the software, but there is a way for you to be able to set up and do auto pay through the portal if you wanna do it that way. If you wanna go to your bank, you can set it up through your bank as well, to have them send a check to the village. This proposal that we're talking about has the ability to pull in those payments as well from the banking system, as opposed to getting a paper check the traditional way. And I'm not sure if you set that up with, Next Bill Pay or not, I didn't see the paperwork that you did with
We
that.
did.
Okay. So therefore, if anybody makes that transaction through most of the banks, not every single bank is included, but most of the banks, those checks are gonna come in electronically in a file, and they're gonna be able to import those into the software and not have to manually key those. A couple benefits to that are, number one, less errors because they don't have to manually key, but then also, the timing on those is drastically reduced, because when you do one of those payments online today, they'd be lucky to get it in what, 7-10 days, something like that. With the electronic capture and bringing it in, it's within a day or two.
It takes us that long to get paid, you're saying, right?
If I go to Chase, I'm not gonna pick on any bank, I go to Macaroni Bank,
Yeah.
and I make a payment to the Village of Camden, she will get that check in probably 7 to 10
Because
days.
it comes through the mail.
In the mail. It takes that long. Most customers don't realize that, and that creates problems, because then my due date is in 3 days. I'm thinking, well, I'm way ahead of this, it's gonna get there in time, I'm gonna make that transaction on my bank, and then 7 to 10 days later, it comes in, and there's a late fee assessed. They're calling Trina, all upset, and it's not Trina's fault, but they're gonna blame Trina.
Of course.
And it has been happening.
Had that call before.
Yeah. So that'll help reduce a lot of those calls as well, because it's gonna take it down to, like I say, 1 to 2 business days before that transaction actually hits the billing software. Much, much improved.
Well, these accounts hold statements, so I can like look back and say, pull up, a bill from 2 or 3 months ago to see the different bills.
Yeah, that's a good question. This one only holds the current statement. The reason I say this one is because there's another partner that we work with that does do multiple statements, but they're really geared towards larger billers, and you guys have, what, about 750 accounts, am I correct on that?
Yeah.
And, they would just be they wouldn't be cost effective, it would be way too much. And we looked at that, we talked about that, and decided this smaller partner was a better option, because it's not gonna cost you guys an arm and a leg. Or your citizens, for that matter.
So we're ready to go on this. Oh, Debbie's gonna put the link on the website.
All the pieces seem to be in place. Next Bill Pay is gonna begin that implementation process with Trina in the office, pretty much right away.
Tom's ready to go with the new bill format. Once it's approved.
Good question.
What's the savings to the township in labor costs, whatever they're currently doing in-house, what's this gonna save?
Price wise, I'm not sure what the savings is, but it is, takes a lot of time out of the office area and the billing that our guys do and Trina. So it will save us time and money.
We don't know how much that.
We haven't quantified it, I have not quantified it.
Yeah.
But
I just know the outsourcing itself
Oh,
is
yeah.
pretty much an even swap. More people will probably start paying online now that it's more user friendly, you don't have to enter every little detail. And we have quite a few, we have about 250 that pay online already.
which is pretty good, actually, that's good.
I anticipate it will save a lot of time, people coming in.
Do you have another question?
I do. You mentioned the older software. What's the end of life on whatever current software is you're asking us to have? Or
So,
what we currently have?
yeah, that's a great question. The software that you guys are currently running is called eGov. It's a software we created back in the nineties. It's still very functional. We have a lot of customers that are still running it. We have no end of life on it. My company does not do an end of life thing where we send a letter out to our customers and say, you have 3 years, otherwise we're gonna cut off support. We don't do that. It's not something we've done in the past, and we don't intend to do it in the future. We do have a newer version out, like you picked up on. We're not forcing customers to go to that, and by no means are we pressuring the village here to go to that. There are advantages to going to that, and we can certainly talk about what those advantages are at some point and have that discussion. But we haven't really gone there yet either.
You're referring to the
Yeah.
VIP.
VIP, yes.
Michelle?
Are there other, like villages or cities around us that are using the system?
There are a lot of them, yeah.
Like in Preble County, for example?
In Preble County, no. In the state of Ohio, we have, probably 150 or so total in the state of Ohio-ish, if I'm guessing. Right here in this very area, I'd have to look on my map and to know exactly who is using it where. I'm not so good at that game, but, yeah, there are a bunch of them. I know Eaton uses, our software.
Yeah, like, oh, so that was my question, Eaton, so that's Preble County,
Yes.
okay.
Eaton does use it,
Because
but I
that
think,
looked very much like an Eaton
I-
statement, that's why I was
Is that right?
wondering if they were using the
I believe
same
Eaton is
software.
also using the older version of the software as
Got it.
well. I'm not positive which version they're on.
Okay.
How long have they been a customer?
As long as I've been with the company 10 years, they were a customer, time customer when I started.
How does the software then let Trina know or whoever's doing it, that they didn't pay their bill and it's time to shut off the water? How is that handled?
Well, that's a whole, can of worms, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
There are a lot of ways that the software can do that. I have no idea how Trina is configured to do that. Both versions of our software will provide her plenty of tools to be able to look that information up and figure out when it's time to shut people off, and I'm sure that she has to do that every month, don't you?
I'm supposed to.
Supposed to, yeah. But you have the tools to be able to pull the delinquency reports and all that, yeah. But everybody's a little different, that's why I'm hesitant to answer that question,
Right.
because everybody does it a little bit differently. You guys are like snowflakes out here.
Well, I wasn't sure since you said it would go through, like, if they mail you the check or do it online and stuff, how would she know that the bill's been paid and stuff, that type of?
Oh, they'll come in, she'll update the batch, and they'll come off the delinquency report, yeah.
Instead of doing each individual account entry, like I do with all of our online payments right now,
Right,
I have to print them off and then I have to enter them after the customer's already done it on their end. This will just be in a file, and then it'll be
okay.
straight to the
So I can
account.
still come up and pay you, right? Good, cause I don't like doing stuff.
Okay.
I'm old fashioned.
Right here, that's probably gonna save 3 days.
I don't think people realize the time and the interruption that it takes. If only 250 people are paying online, how many do you think get in the mail? Well, it doesn't, it's just the interruption time it takes out throughout the day.
But she likes to see my pretty face.
Well, I get it. I get that. That's probably worth a lot.
It is.
Part of the job.
Or what?
Is that
part of the
part
job.
I'm not saying it's not part of the job, I'm just saying that it would just help things probably go a lot better in the office if there were less interruptions, and then, how are you, why did you hear it, you know what I mean? You do that how many times a day? What else have you accomplished? I mean, it's
I don't
just,
pay an extra fee to pay my bill, I'm already paying that one already, so I don't wanna pay an extra fee to.
well, I'm just saying, even
I'm
just
just
drop,
saying.
I mean,
That's why I don't do it.
saying, just saying.
Anybody else got
I'm
questions?
not, don't misunderstand, I'm just saying that it would be best, I'm not saying not do it.
But a lot of those
Just-
are also put in the mail slot, like you're not happy to have,
Yeah, that's not going away.
right,
Right.
Walk-ins aren't going away.
So I work with a lot of communities, and everybody says exactly what you just said. There are people just like you, ma'am, that wanna go, they wanna go see Trina's smiling face or whoever it is at whatever village, and that's part of what they do. And
Right.
nobody, all the villages that I encounter wanna continue to do that. But offering other options does allow more people to pay other ways that are more efficient. And that way, hopefully it can help the village to be more efficient, but they're gonna
Well,
always be here for you
Yeah,
guys.
to answer Kelly's question, I came in yesterday, paid my water bill.
All right.
She was busy, she said, thank you, and I'll talk to you later. She went right back to her job. And I did not take
So you got
offense
the
to
bums
it.
rush, yes.
Good job, girl.
I called her about 10 times yesterday, she's probably on the phone with me.
Could have been, but I'm just saying, if she's busy, she wouldn't have a problem telling me so, but she told me so.
I've noticed that about her, she doesn't mince words,
No, she doesn't.
good for her.
Yeah, so how many hours a week do you figure that our fiscal officer does our water bills? How many hours a week do you think that is?
Oh, I have no idea, and I'm sure it varies by
Probably,
what time people pay.
probably a week and a half at least,
I mean, a week and a half,
out of the month.
of the month.
Well,
Well,
that flip-flopping back and forth between other things, yeah. The first of the month is the busiest for the on-time payers, and then around the 15th, it kicks up again for people trying to avoid the late fee, and then prior to the 25th, it kicks up again prior to shut-off time. So, let's just say 3 days prior to each of those days, it gets very, very busy.
Very cyclical. for
So
sure.
you're talking about how many hours a day?
Well, some days I
If you do it daily, how many hours?
I don't do it daily always.
So you're not stretching it out, you don't think it'd be 1 or 2 hours a day, or, you know, if you're accumulated hours, how many do you think? 10, 15 hours a week,
No.
or a month?
This morning I probably spent 4 hours on all the online payments.
Okay.
I mean, I can get that for you if you'd like me to.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, you can
I
do
can
it.
keep track of that if you'd like me to.
Anybody else?
Is the cost of this going to go up yearly?
I'm sorry?
Is the cost of this going up yearly, so then our bill would be increased if that's increased? Who's gonna pay for the increase if they increase what they're charging you all, the village?
There's $1,200 we pay, does that go up yearly?
I'm sorry, is there a contract for 3 years or price lock for any?
So let's go one at a time here. $1,200 a year, goes on to your annual support contract. We do an annual support increase every year, just like any company would, of 3 to 5%. So, yeah, that's gonna happen. At some point, obviously, that's gonna have to be paid for. Like, all of the overhead expenses would have to be paid for. So that's the first question.
Right now, we would be paying, right? Right now, we would be paying, you wouldn't.
But who's gonna pay for that increase?
Well, I think it's obvious, that the ratepayer, me too.
Well, I'm just saying,
It's
it's
not just
us.
an us versus, yeah, me too.
Okay,
It's-
that's what we're asking.
Yeah, no, I think it's like any other business you're in, there's gonna be ever increasing costs and changes, and there's no way that we, sitting here, can just magically say, we can't do that. You know, we have to call it, it's like any other business.
But the village will cover it, I think is what she's asking.
Well, the village is them.
I mean,
Uh,
you know,
I mean,
it's
we're
not
gonna pay for this, we're gonna pay for this one upfront without any additional charges, but I'm sure that will eventually be reflected, it's just the world. No other, unless you have another idea.
It was working when she was doing it, so what's wrong with that?
I'll still be doing it.
But I'm just saying, rather than having to pay somebody that I'm gonna have to pay out of my pocket, I'm already paying her salary.
But we're paying her overtime right now, and in the long run, it may be cheaper to have the software.
It does bring a certain efficiency, and I think over time, it'll only get better as people, take advantage of the way to either pay online or do a draft or IP drafts, I don't.
Will this help with overtime? Will this help you with overtime that you're having to work?
But we don't know how much time she spends on this a month. She can't say, I spend 20 hours a week, she said 7 minutes, right? But she can't give you an exact amount, she said she does
Well,
not
we can put a
know.
time setting on it.
We can say, but that changes
It just
weekly.
depends on what.
Do you pay the
is
same
on
day of
it.
the month every month?
Yep.
Not everybody does, so that creates a problem there. I mean, you may come in tomorrow and pay your
I'm asking overall, how long does it take?
She said like 60 hours.
We'd have to do a time.
Yeah,
study,
it
find out
averaged about
exactly
60
how long it
hours a
takes.
month, yeah.
I mean, that's just part of the job.
60.
We don't,
I'm trusting, since she's in here doing it every day, all day long, and then like Michelle said, that there is overtime involved in catching up on everything, and that too. But I'm just trusting that, with her knowledge of the job over the last 2 years, that she thinks that this would help bring certain speed and efficiency, not just to her job, but to the overall process. I don't see it as such an exorbitant amount of change that it's going to make a meaningful change in life.
The only real change will be the online payments. I won't have to be entering them. I will be using the file that is sent to me. I'll still be processing checks, cash, walk-in and Starbucks, all of that. So it's just, like I said, I spent 4 hours today on the online for the first part of the month. So that would be 12 hours. And through the month for the 3 big days. So that's 12 hours.
Will this 2.9% fee, will that fluctuate, or will it be set to 2.9% every year?
Did I say 2.9 or that's 2.75, wasn't it?
It said
Very close to
2.9.
that.
You said 2?
Did I say 2.9? 2.95? Yeah.
The credit card fee.
I have a question, so if you guys vote, like say you want it tonight, you vote on it and you say, when it's a year contract, so in a year we can revisit and decide if we wanna go on the next year, right? I'm
you
assuming.
mean if you sign up for this?
They're asking for contracts. You're asking
What
for
do you
a
mean?
contract.
Right, like you're saying, like say if you guys vote on it tonight, let's say, and it's a go for this next year, in a year, the contract would be up, cause it's year to year, right?
If we don't like it, then.
We can just not, yeah, like you can opt to like, it didn't pan out or it wasn't as efficient or, you know, worth what we think it's worth, we're just gonna go back to doing it the way we were doing it.
But aren't we already using the system?
Yes.
We're already on the system, we're just upgrading it. And what they're upgrading it, I understand is a wash between what they're doing and what they're gonna pay for him, it's going to wash. Like, it's not gonna really change anything right now. They're just updating the system to make it more efficient. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, yes.
Great synopsis.
I don't know which question you want me to answer. So somebody ask me another question so that I can answer, cause you guys went a whole bunch of different ways.
I was wondering if the credit card fee, that 2 point whatever percent,
Okay.
that fluctuates.
Yes, no, it does not fluctuate. The contract, I believe you got from Next Bill Pay was probably a 3-year term. That's not our contract, but I think it's a 3-year term. I think technically speaking, you have to, go the entire term, but,
But there's no cost from the next bill pay. Other than the
there is 100
initial.
other than the initial, there's no upfront cost.
She said there was no cost for the next bill pay.
There would not be any cost as long as there's transactions, but what I was gonna say is I think that, if you guys truly didn't like it, want to get out of it, Next Bill Pay is going to let you out, but technically speaking, there's a contract for 3 years. Is the answer. You guys aren't gonna wanna get out of it, I mean, every customer that does this, I mean, it's a game changer for them. I've never seen anybody say, oh my gosh, I wanna get out of this.
Most of my online customers do request this, just so they can set it up for.
Well, there's a high demand for it in most communities I visit.
Well, I think that's only gonna change, as people like being in there.
I'm old fashioned, I like my little thing stamped, thank you.
She got on me for not taking it down there to get a stamp, I'm like, I don't even do that.
I want my paper stamped and I got it home in an envelope, so if they come back and say, you didn't pay your water bill, I say, oh yeah, I did, right here it is. I trust paper more than I do a computer. I know it's
Mr.
my.
Mayor, anything else? Or at least we have service.
I run like every chance.
If there are, go through Trina, she can get a hold of me and I'll make sure everything's answered.
Oh, good, thank you.
Happy to do that. Anything else?
Thank you.
Alright, I'm going home. Thanks, enjoy your weekend.
Appreciate it, thank you.
See you guys. Thank you very much.
Anybody else have any
Brock, I'm with the Camden Lions Club. I have a few members here with me tonight. I'm not here to complain about my water bill, I'm not here to talk politics, I'm not here to cause any ruckus or anything, unless you want me, unless you want me to, and I can do that, but. So the Lions Club is in the business of helping our community. And one of the ways that we can help our community is, through environmental purposes, trash cleanup, we do that. We have a top highway cleanup down on 127 that we take care of. So our Lions at the state level have empowered our local clubs, such as Camden, to get out and plant trees as a challenge, for all the local clubs. So I'm asking the council if there are, obviously we have park spaces here, if there are places that we can plant trees. For the betterment of the
What
village.
kind?
Whatever kind we wanna plant. It's no cost to the council, it'll be something that the Lions Club would take care of, unless somebody's willing to donate the tree.
Well, I just wanna make sure we don't plant something that's on the kind of invasive species
No, of
list.
course, yeah, I
Which
think
is,
that's
I
all
mean,
local.
they still sell some of those pear trees and things like that out there.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
Where would we put it?
oh, there's lots of places we can put it. There's lots of places. When are you wanting to do that? How many trees are you talking about?
We hadn't really put a figure on it, 10, 15 trees, I mean, whatever the village is willing to let us do, and it's just a way that we can help better Camden.
The challenge was for all the groups of, the Lions Club to plant 1,000 trees.
No.
Yeah, that's across the state, but
That's what-
obviously we
that's what I
can
said.
go over that, yeah.
Yeah, then we have the challenge of 1,000 trees for the state of, is this all the states or just Ohio?
Just Ohio has
Just
this
Ohio.
challenge.
Do you have your, do you know where you're buying your trees yet, or do you know any of the?
No, we haven't done any of the legwork on that yet, but I know sometimes Trumbull County, the natural resources, they usually give away trees, there is,
They're usually about that big, honestly.
yeah, there's some of them are small,
I planted lots and lots of those.
I wouldn't expect it to be more a foot, 2 foot.
Well, you want something that's just not gonna get mowed over or eaten off by a rabbit.
Mhm.
Do I have your phone number?
No, but you can, I'll give it to you,
You want to give it out here, or do you, because they're.
I'll give it to you, I don't, 937
Hey, go.
776 5067.
Okay, I will text you I'll give you my number and then we'll figure it out.
Okay.
If I like it.
Yeah, we're just, if there's other projects that the village needs help with, that we can volunteer hours with, we can do that. I know we painted the fence down there in the past, of course, we painted that bathroom down there before, so that, whatever the village needs.
Trash is
we're here for.
always a big thing. We used to gather up there, I can't tell you how many times we had huge cleanup groups and all got burned / tons. So it's been a while.
We could actually put several at Charlesville Park.
I think that's obvious, yeah.
We could create shade around the playground equipment up there.
Well, I'll get his number and we'll talk about that, since you're on the parking and things, we'll decide, or let you guys then decide, but I wanna help with the tree part of it.
Yep.
Maybe choice and I'll do some money a little bit.
Well, is there a plan in place for maintaining them for like the first year until they get established?
I think the Lions Club could probably handle that aspect of
I
it.
hate to see people plant trees and.
Yeah. Yeah, just let it go, but, yeah, there's enough people live here in town that are in the club that we could probably manage that pretty easily, I think. Watering and making sure upkeep.
Would you can you put these at private residence also?
Yeah, it wouldn't have to be just a park, that's just the first thing that kinda came to mind, but if there are local citizens that would love a tree, we would be more willing, we'd come out and plant those too, that's not a problem at all.
Be fun too.
Yeah, as long as we're just trying to keep count and we wanna get credit for it, so we turn it to the state level, and then they credit us for it.
Sounds good, sounds like a good program.
Alright, thank you.
How many, you say, who's playing, the Lions Club or the Cubs, what'd you,
Lions Club.
Lions Club? And how many people do you have that's gonna be assisting in playing?
We have 20 members now, so we've grown a little bit in the last few years. So usually we get a pretty good turnout for service projects, so, plus we have, some of us have kids that we can draw them, we can man up to bring out, help us.
You're planting trees, you're digging
He's
holes.
gonna plant trees.
She's got
Alright, thank you.
Thank
do it, but we have to, where we can open bids up, so landscapers can start making a bid on the project. One of the local companies reached out and wants to get that started, cause planting season is coming up in, I believe it's May. So I don't know if we have to make a motion to start accepting bids, or how, I don't know how that works, I've never done it.
Will we post that online to get bids?
You can, like,
I didn't know if we'd have to accept bids, or if we just could pick a local business, I don't know the legality of that.
Well, I think we've already had one guy that's,
here's the thing, unless it's over a certain amount, you don't have to put it off the bid, you can just pick.
it depends on how much you can charge.
Absolutely.
All right, did Luke,
That Luke Sparks is who I talked to,
yeah, Luke was interested in before, I think we talked about it before.
yeah, so I didn't know if he said that he could get a bid and, send it, email it to council.
Okay.
Or if we had to accept so many bids, just to let them know, so.
Well, it depends on, like you said, it depends on the price, if it's not above a certain price, we don't have to go out to bid.
Do we know that price?
I would discourage him from emailing it to us, I think you should put it in writing
Well, yeah,
and
I
drop it
don't
off.
know, right?
And does it have to be a business, could it be individual people who live in Camden?
Probably could. I guess probably what we need to do, if we're, since we're gonna have to put out there what it is,
We have to,
specifications.
yeah, we have to do a scope of work. Yeah, we have to know when we get done.
So we'll have to come out with specifications.
So that's the way
We'll throw it open to-
Everyone's bidding, it's apples to apples.
And, I'm sorry, do we know what the threshold is to accept bids and not have to accept bids? Is it 5,000?
It's 50,000, I think.
I'm not sure what amount it is offhand.
Yeah, I think you can do, it used to be 25, 20, 25, and 50, I think, so. If it's over 50,000, I won't do it.
The rest you can prove up to 10 or 15.
And we need to talk about that too.
All right. Well, any old business? We got new business other than the five that we just talked about.
What'd you say?
New business?
I need to decide something on these CDs. This one is going to roll over on the 12th
You just need to get to it before they.
act. Yes, and it's gonna roll over at 0 point whatever rates.
Just get with Paul and get it, renew them before they go into.
What, you wanna keep them at what? 3.21 for 24 months?
Is it,
For this,
We can get 4.48 with Star Ohio.
didn't we do Star Ohio, isn't that what we decided on? Or was that just something else?
No, we did, we did the first one in Star Ohio.
Can we reach out to them and see if they can match Star Ohio, and if they can, keep them, and if they can't, maybe we can move it to Star Ohio?
I did do that the last
I
time.
thought we moved it to start on.
You did most of it.
We did the one.
Just the one.
These are just now coming due to mature.
You know, let's make, I think Somerville needs to be given an opportunity, and here's my thinking about Somerville, even when we went to First Financial. Your First Financial packed up on the left. You know, so you got Somerville over there that pays our water bill, pays our property taxes, pays our income taxes, has employees here, has a physical location here. So I think it's worth something, you know, I think we should keep some things, some.
The last time I talked to them, it was at a 4.04.
Yeah.
And they said versus us going to Star Ohio with that one, because it was like 293,000.
Yeah.
That they would match the 4.04, so if they'll do that, you're
Right.
okay?
You can boost them a little bit, but find out what
They
the best
won't
they
go any higher.
Well, find out what they can do. That would be my thing. I don't, I think Star Ohio's a good thing, but I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket either.
But I have to do something by the 12th on that first one.
Find out.
Our next meeting is not till the 20th.
Well, but I think between you and the mayor, you guys have the ability to ink
last year.
Yeah.
They wanna come back for the Steetown Throwdown, and they just want, approval for August 23rd, and possibly like a portalette up there, since they're expecting probably double the athletes that they have.
In addition to the restroom bagel, can you say?
Well, where they wanted to set up, so they had plenty of room to throw, is over by the recycling bins.
It's like a mile from the bathroom.
Well, it's kind of hard when they're over there throwing.
Did we get one from them last year?
No, we talked about it, and we wanted to see how it went, and how many people.
Which we still have the public restrooms open.
Yeah.
We'll see there'd be a problem, because it was a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, so
How
I
many
think,
did you have?
when I was there, I don't know if it got busier later in the day, but there was probably, 20 athletes?
So it was a little more than that.
Little
Cause we had male and female, and
Oh,
there
yeah.
was a lot of them.
And
Quite a few.
then spectators, and then we ended up having a food truck there.
How many spectators?
Again, I don't know how much busier it got after I left, but probably 20.
I don't know, they just came in clusters, they would show for watch and then leave and then come back, and
When
then
I was
it
there,
was hard.
the fence line was lined up.
I'll make a motion that we provide that.
Thoughts? Roll call.
Yay.
Yay.
Sissy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, the local nonprofit, the Preble County Pity Committee, they are veteran owned. And I think I discussed it with you a little bit. They have it's almost like a blessing box. It's really nice, and it would stand on a pole. And they really wanted to put it in our veteran park.
Veterans Park.
And they would stock it, other people can stock it for like, animal food and stuff like that. She just wants, I think they wanna be more a part of the community and offer something to help the community.
And it would be for pet supply.
And I have a picture of what it looks like.
I'd like to see
It
it.
is actually really nice. And I don't think that we have to have it up front. They just wanted, her husband's a veteran. They wanted to.
I don't like it.
I don't know, but we got two
I'll
for people.
Yeah.
We still want it for pet supply.
And it'll have a plaque on it as well.
It's for animal food?
So you can see with that. It'll have a plaque up here, and then it'll stand on, she said like, whatever kind of posts you guys want, hold.
Yeah, I see that.
So,
Looks nice.
That's what council wants.
but,
I'd like to make a motion that we let the Biddy committee,
yeah, Preble County Pity.
do a blessing box for pets at our veterans park.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Roll call.
Carla. Yay. Melanie.
Yay.
Lizzie.
Yay.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Laura.
Yay.
Yes, very good.
I have two more things. On March 20th, Trina and I talked to Tri-Health. They were going to come down here to, if they bring like one of those big grant checks, we want council to, get a picture of their administration. So I just wanted you to have that date, so it'll be March 20th, which, that's our next council meeting.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what time?
I'm assuming prior to the meeting, or like right before it starts. I could imagine them staying very long. I just wanted to, or they do it with every grant or something.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure he's here, it'll be here.
And then, actually, I can do other things.
All right.
The Parks Committee hasn't been able to meet, we had to cancel the one. Can Carla and Jeffrey available the first Thursday meeting in April, right after the meeting to do a quick Parks meeting?
As long as I don't get stuck at work.
Just keep me posted.
Okay, anything else? All right, can I get a motion for approval of minutes? Roll call?
Carla. Kelly. Lizzie.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah.
Take a motion for payroll. I'll make a motion to approve payroll. Discussion? Roll call?
Carla. Kelly.
Yeah.
Lizzie.
Abstain.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah.
Purchase orders and invoices?
Make a motion to approve purchase orders and invoices.
I'll second that. Discussion? Roll call?
Carla. Kelly.
Yeah.
Lizzie. Abstain. Jeff.
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah.
Take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, Danny, wait, I got a question to ask.
Too late.
For real.
I second that.
Oh, yes.
If Trina doesn't mind, I wanna start buying bird feed for the birds beside the building, so no one complains about money being spent on bird feed. So I'm gonna take that over if Carla doesn't, or if Trina doesn't mind, I'm sorry, I was looking at you. If Trina doesn't mind, I'm gonna take over bringing her bird feed for the birds,
You're not the only one that has all heard that.
Okay.
but I
We'll
will
have
do
to get
it.
more birds.
Thank you.
We'll have little fat birds running around. Sure.
All right, we got a motion and a second, roll call please.
Carla. Kelly.
Yeah.
Lizzie.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah.
Yay, thank you.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan. How often are the dumpsters up at